Today's session will be about balance. Balance is something that we might take for granted for most of our life until at one point we realize how important it is to prevent us from falling. And as we age, and the more we age, the more we really need to start thinking about keeping that ability to balance and potentially even improving our ability to balance. So one thing I want to cover with you is the importance of our toes in balance. So if you notice as you're looking at your toes, if you notice that your toes cross kind of like this, then that by itself can be something that affects your balance. And sometimes we just don't let our feet be free and stretch as much as we should. So if most of your day you wear shoes and then you get home and maybe you keep your shoes on at home, or maybe you wear indoor shoes or slippers that are still making your feet tighten up and squeeze in rather than being free and able to move, then potentially you're losing some of that ability of your toes to move, and that's in the long term not a great thing. So if you notice that this is happening to you, what I do recommend you do is use this. So if you're a woman, you probably have some at home. If you're a man, just get some from any woman you know. And you're going to place them in between your toes every day as you get home. And you're going to keep the toe separators in to just get them used to spreading out, taking up space and stretching out. And you can keep them on while you watch TV, you can keep them on while you do anything really. You can stand up and keep them on, and that's fine. You can even walk around and keep them on. So it might look a little bit silly, but it's actually a really good thing that you can do for the health of your feet and your toes and your ability to balance. So let's take this off for now and come to stand into just a hip distance stand. And I want you to look down at your feet. Lift all of the toes off the ground. Lift them all up as high as you can off the ground. And then just like you can spread your fingers of your hands, see if you can spread the toes on your feet. Can you see the light between each and every one of your toes? Maybe you can, maybe not. But you're still trying, and that's all that matters. And eventually, as you keep exercising your toes, you'll get this ability of the toes to move back. And trust me, there was a point in your life where your toes were moving maybe better than now. So keeping your toes still up, we're going to play by placing our little toes down, keeping our big toes up, and just see if that's possible. First few times you do this, your toes may not respond, but with time, they'll come back. I promise. Lift them all up, spread them out wide, and then place your big toes down, keep your little toes up. And then let's do this one more time. All of the toes up, spread them out wide, place your little toes down, keep your big toes up, and reverse it. Big toes down, little toes up. Lift them all up, spread them out wide, and place them all down. Good. And now, standing as you are, just make sure your toes are pointing forwards, your feet are hip distance apart. We're going to close the eyes. Bring the attention into your feet. Start to notice the contact of your toes with the ground. Contact of the front part of your foot on your right, on your left side. And the contact of your heels with the ground. Engage the muscles in your thighs. Slightly engage your glutes. And then lift up through the crown of the head up towards the ceiling or the sky. And keep your chin about parallel to the ground. Your shoulders and face relaxed. Now keeping this posture, shift the body weight into the front of your feet Notice your toes gripping to stop you from falling forwards. And then come back. And now shift your weight back into your heels. And notice maybe your toes are even lifting off the ground or they're becoming really, really light. Bring it back to center. Shift the weight into your right side. So if there is more weight into your right foot than there is on your left foot. Bring it back to center and go to the second side. So now there is more weight into your left foot than there is on your right foot. Bring it back to center. And then notice if you can find a middle point. So you're not leaning forwards. You're not leaning back. Not to the right, not to the left, but staying centered. Distribute the body weight well between your right and your left foot. Let's take another breath in. And as you exhale, open the eyes. Okay, good. So come down, take a seat for a moment. When we balance, we want to think of the tripod of the foot on each foot staying rooted and grounded. And by that, what I mean is there is a bone here at the base of your big toe. And then you want to feel the outer edge of the foot and the bone at the base of your little toe and the central part of your heel. And imagine now that there is a triangle, so a line between your little toe and your big toe, going down into the middle of the heel, and from the middle of the heel going up into the corner of your foot, into your little toe. You want to imagine that triangle shape always staying grounded and the 3 points of contact staying down into the earth as you balance. So now as we come up and start playing with a single leg balance, I want you to really think about that tripod at the base of each foot staying down. So let's come up. And again, standing hip distance. Start to shift the weight into your right foot, but still keep your left toes down. We need to find a point right in front of you on the horizon. So we're not looking down, we're not looking up, we're looking straight ahead. And set the eyes on one point, something on the wall, something on the horizon, whatever you can find. Ideally, something that is not moving. You're going to hold your attention there and see if you can pick up your left foot off the ground. So now you're just balancing onto that right leg, right foot. And if you are struggling with your balance for now, maybe this is all that you're going to work with. You're going to try and stay for about 30 seconds or 5 long breaths on one side before you switch and repeat on the second side. And you can do this anywhere. You can do it when you brush your teeth. You can do it when you cook. You can do it when you watch TV. Wherever you are, just find a minute each day to work on your balance. 30 seconds on one side, 30 seconds on the other side. Let's release and switch. Body weight into the left foot. Keep your right toes down for now. And come back to that triangle shape at the bottom of your foot. So visualize that triangle between the base of your big toe, little toe, and the center of the heel. And as you lift the right foot off the ground, see the 3 point of contacts at the base of your left foot staying grounded. Set the eyes on that one point in front of you. And take a moment to pay attention to the breath. Are you still breathing or are you holding the breath? And if you are holding the breath, can you consciously inhale and exhale? One last in, exhale, and release. Good, keep your legs in good shape. Lovely. So from where you are, we're going to work with one more balancing pose. For today, we'll work with tree pose. So again, this is something that you can do 30 seconds every day and it will really help you balance as long as you do it regularly. So even if it's a short time, but every day, it will make a difference. So let's shift the weight into your right foot and option 1, toes down, So your left toes stay grounded and lightly touching the floor so that you have them there if you need that extra little bit of support for your balance. If you can, place the foot below the knee. So this left knee is pointing out to the side, the hips are staying forwards, our torso is staying facing forwards, and bring the hands at the heart center. Eyes on that one point in front of you. Consciously inhale. Consciously exhale. 4 more breaths in. 3. 2. And 1. Release the arms as you exhale, release the foot. See if you need a moment to shake it out. And then switching sides. Left foot takes the weight. Right toes can be down if you need them. Otherwise, foot below the knee, hence the heart. Your gaze point is important. It's going to help you keep the mind present. It's going to prevent distractions from messing up with your balance. Now, as you stay here, it's important that you think of a nice and tall posture. So the head stacks on top of the shoulders. Shoulders stacks on top of the hips. And everything is aligned. A slight sense of lifting up through the crown of the head. A couple of more breaths. And exhale, release. Okay, good, shake it out. Now, another thing that you can start integrating in your day to keep working on that strong and solid balance that in the long term is going to be so important for your safety, you can start coming up and down from chairs and couches and seats on the bus, whatever you have, without using your hands. So notice as you come down and sit on a chair, on the couch, or wherever you are, if you rely on your hands, can you actually see if it's possible to come up and down without using your hands? And maybe practice this at home. Practice coming up and down for 10 to 15 times every single day. And as simple as it sounds, can really make a difference because we don't realize how much we rely on other parts of the body. And actually, we don't need them. We can use everything else. We can use the strength in our legs, the strength in our core, and we don't need to use our hands. And if you do need them for now, then work in stages. Maybe rather than leaning onto your support, you're just going to place a finger and see if that is enough. And after you've done it like this a few times, maybe you don't even need that anymore. And if you're a pro at this and you're like, oh, this is super easy for me, we're going to test this out. And rather than using a chair, you can use something lower, like a couple of cushions, or nothing, just going straight down to the floor. So see if you can squat down and come all the way down to take a seat. And then from here, see if you can rock yourself back up to standing. And again, if this is really hard, just place something underneath you so you don't need to go all the way down. But practice this. You want to be able to do this for a very long time, and if we practice it, we will. We were able to do this, all of us, at one point in our life. Simply maybe we haven't done it for a long time and now it's really hard, but just get it back. It's going to come back. So thank you so much for watching. Keep working on your balance, and I promise it will get better as long as you keep the good work up. It doesn't have to be a super long session. Just a couple of minutes or even 1 minute, 30 seconds on one side, 30 seconds on the other side while you're watching TV. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions or any requests for future videos, just leave me a comment. Thank you so much.